Doing this this video at the end of the training week instead of the start of the training week, just so I can talk about the week. So I'll put this at the start of the video, and then you get to see all my training that I talked about. Yeah, the training week was interesting, to say the least. Like, there was goods and there was bad. Day one squats were really good. Well, they were really good in the end. So what coach wanted me to try was, what I did last week was I had two 15 kilo plates, like bumper plates, and I had my feet on those. So I was like a slightly closer than my normal stance for a squat, but I was up on the plate, so I was really high heel raise, and I had my lifter heels on as well, so I was quite high up. And it felt fine last week, and then coach was like, can you do it on one plate so your feet are really close? So we're doing a narrow stance, super high heel raised, high bar squat. Did that at 70 kilos for warm up. I felt a little bit like, doesn't feel great, feels a little bit kind of on the old TFL on the right hand side. I was like, why is that? I was like, is my TFL just sore again, or have I done something, or like, what's going on? And we went up to 100 kilos. I was like, maybe I just need to warm up a bit more. We went 100 kilos and that didn't feel good either. It's like, this isn't good. Why does that hurt so much? So I decided to see, is it just the fact that I'm doing like a super close stance, which would put more pressure on that section of the quad. And so I put the 2 plates down as I had the previous week, and felt fine, no pain. I was like, okay. So I messaged coach. I said, hey, look, this is what's going on. I can't do it the way you want to do it because it just hurts too much. I'm going to do it the way I did last week. He said that's cool. And then it went really well. Last week I went 120, 130, 140, 150 on the super high heel raise, high bar squat. And this week I went 120, 140, 160, 180. And the 180 didn't actually feel that hard. No pain. And not overly hard like strength wise either. So I probably had 6 reps as well. I probably could have done 200 for 6 in that, on that variation, and that's probably going to be the goal for the block. I think I'm still doing the super high heel raise squat for the next 2 weeks, so I think 200 will probably be the goal. So next week I'll try and increase the overall volume I managed, maybe start at like 150, then go 160, 170, 180. Sorry, I'm just adjusting the camera. And the rest of that workout went really well. Nothing to complain about. I mean, I don't really enjoy the 5 sets of 20 reps on the leg extension with a minute's rest in between, but everything in the day one workout I was able to either increase the volume, increase the overall weight, or increase the fatigue cap that I had. So example, that is 5 sets of 20 last week on the leg extension. I did 3 sets of 20, and then the fourth set I had to do 6. I did 16 reps, then I had to have like a breather because the legs were burning that badly, and then 4 more. And then the 5th rep set I did, I think 12, and then 2, 2, 2, 2, just because the legs were burning that badly. And my progress is doing better than that. So I managed to do all 5 sets of 20 reps without having to take a short, like 2-second break in between any of the reps. That was good, happy with that. Really pleased with that. And then Tuesday's workout was good as well. On Tuesday's day 2 workout, which was Wednesday, that was pretty good too. That was the behind the neck press and a few other exercises. So behind the neck press was pretty easy. There's definitely a lot more strength there and a lot more that I could do, but I'm not meant to be sending it every single session. And coach has given me weights to actually go for. And then the rest of that workout went absolutely fine. Well, Yes and no. I said to myself, hey, with your dumbbell, the one arm strict dumbbell press, I wanted to try and go 50, 52, 50, because last week I went 40, 50, 45. So I want to, and that was like, I managed to do 55 pretty comfortably too. And I was like, oh, I want to send it a little bit harder. I want to see where my strength is at. And then, yeah, unfortunately, the first set I did at 50, really comfortably. Well, no, not really comfortably. I did the first set at 50 and it was all right. And I went 52 and I managed all the reps on the right arm pretty comfortably. And then I went the left arm and I got one rep, and then the second rep just kind of fell towards my head a little bit, and I kind of was like, oh no, that wasn't good, put it down. Got that out of the way, did the last 4 reps on the left arm with the 50 kilo, and then did another set with 50 kilo. And by the end of that, my back of my elbow, right there, and was quite sore. So I was like, okay, that doesn't feel great. It's clearly like a muscular thing. So okay, whatever. Like, I finished the workout. Friday comes around, elbow's still a little bit sore. I had deadlifting, like, lower body, as we call it. So yeah, deadlifts, and there was 4 sets, 7 reps with 3 second eccentrics. I had wanted to kind of push the deadlifts a little bit harder this week, because last week my back was really stiff and I was really disappointed with the workout. So I kind of set some goals in mind, and back wasn't stiff, and I did 3 sets of 7 reps at 210. And yeah, the hardest part of that workout was, probably the fact that I felt like I was going to shit myself a few times. I have celiac disease, and sometimes I eat gluten like a dumbass because I think that I can handle a little bit, and then it sends my intestines and stomach into, well, my intestines into just self-defense mode. But beyond the point. And then the 4th set, I was like, let's send this, let's see what we can do, let's go for it. And I did that, and I did 240 for a set of 7 with 3 second eccentrics, and that's pretty sick. That's pretty good. Like, that's getting up there. I'm pretty happy with that. And the thing is, like, my lower back's no longer sore. It's just, if it's a hard workout, it's a lot of volume, the back will start to stiffen up slowly. And it's done that for the last 5-6 years. And I think that's just, I think it's just purely fatigue personally. I could obviously increase my threshold so I can do more, which is what I'm trying to do. And so, but I was really happy with that. And then we went on to other exercises the rest of the workout. And then I got to, what did I get to? Safety bar, squat, good mornings to a pin. And that's where shit kind of started going wrong. I did 70 kilos last week, and the back had been a little bit like, oh, okay. And it's just because there's quite a few, like, for me, lower back dominant exercises before I get to this. And my lower back's like, oh, okay, this is a lot more work than it's used to. But I did 70 kilos last week. I was like, I'll do 80 kilos this week. And I went down to do the first rep, and I just felt my lower back and my core was not going to handle it, beltless. So I chucked the belt on and did the sets with my belt on. It was still a really good workout. I mean, the goal of the exercise is to focus on my hamstrings, not on my lower back, but yeah, it still worked. And that's exactly what was happening. My hamstrings were firing on all cylinders, which was nice. And yeah, I finished that workout fine. Yeah, no major, well, I got onto the suitcase pickups, and I had this grand idea, because last week I went 112 and then 122, 5 reps per side suitcase pickups. And that was pretty easy. So yeah, I could do way more than that. So this week I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go 122 and 127. Increase the overall volume and increase the top set as well. I went 122 for one set. Didn't feel great. By this point, my lower back was like stiffening up quite badly. So I was like, oh, okay. And, stiffening up. My lower back was so pumped that like reaching down to pick stuff up wasn't very comfortable. So, fun. But I did one set. One set was fine. And then I was like, okay, do it, go 127. I was having a fair amount of fun, so I wasn't too worried about the workout in general. Like I was listening to like pop music and fun stuff. Just acting like an idiot and dancing around. It was quite fun. Yeah, we went 127 and just couldn't get off the floor. That was, I don't think it was my lower back. I think it was my brain kind of playing tricks on me a little bit, because the 122, once I got off the floor, I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. And I got to 127 and I was like, oh, my lower back stiff. Should I do this set? I don't know. Am I going to hurt myself? And as soon as I got that in my head, I was like, great. That's not good. And yeah, I couldn't even get the suitcase, the farmer's handle suitcase off the ground. So I just finished off my core work and came home. And then, yeah, today was the last workout. I just finished it. And yeah, that elbow pain I spoke about earlier, like right there. That's very fun. That was on display again today. Yeah, and it was quite painful today. So I had the incline bench first, and that was mostly just a lockout. There was that pain. I was like, okay, it's all right. It wasn't so much pain that I couldn't do the exercise. And then went through my dumbbell rows. I traded out the 60 kilo gym dumbbell and I went and used my 60 kilo monster dumbbell, because 60 kilos has essentially just become too light, and it's only sets of 5 on the dumbbell row. But using the monster dumbbell, it's so fucking humongous. I kept like whacking my leg and whacking the bench and stuff. You'll see that in the video. But that was good. And yeah, just even the dumbbell rows, just the like top portion, there's a little bit like on my elbow, and I was like, okay, you'll be right. Did my windmills, kettlebell windmills, and they went really well. I was more flexible than usual. I was able to touch my foot really comfortably. I was okay, this was good. And then went on dumbbell, put a dumbbell in place, did a rep at 60 kilos on my left arm as part of my warm up. And the elbow was just like, I put it down, my elbow was like burning, and I was like, oh, okay, let's not do that. And I did the 60 kilo on my right arm, that was not easy. I was like, okay, what do I do here? And like, bear in mind, I've been an athlete for a long time, done lots of different sports, so I know how to self-regulate. So, okay, you can't do your left arm. It's going to hurt. You're possibly going to injure it. All right, we're not doing left arm. We're just doing right arm only. And the workout was 10 sets of 1 rep. It's meant to be a rep each side on monster dumbbell. But yeah, 10 sets, 1 rep with up to 90 seconds rest. And I'm just going to do my right arm. Last week I went 60 kilos left and right. This week I was like, I'll just do 70 kilos right arm only. Did 60 seconds rest, and that was pretty comfortable. The last like 2 sets were getting a little bit like sticky. But I don't think that was a strength issue. That was a technique issue, because a couple of reps I got like really nice in line. I was like, oh yeah, good. And then a couple I was doing my usual thing, losing tightness and then throwing it out to the side, and then having to run underneath it and catch it. But yeah, so got the dumbbell done, just right arm. And I'm pretty happy with doing 10 singles at 70. Like, it's my worst overhead event, and it's coming back together. It's getting better and stronger. And then did my face balls and my arms. So yeah, as I said at the start of the video, some good, some bad, sometimes shit, sometimes good. But yeah, that's the end of the week. Excited to see what next week brings, because the rep ranges are coming down. And I know week 4, I think it's the plan is for me to go for like a heavy 2x2 on deadlift. I'm looking forward to that because I haven't actually been able to go heavy on deadlift for a while, obviously because of my back, and I would like to be in the high 200s for that if I can. That would be nice, given that I was a high 300 kilo puller at one point. Yeah, time to sort out some dinner and chillax for the evening. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe. I wouldn't if I was you, because this is boring. But if you want to subscribe, go for it. Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, and we are into it. So, yeah, stiletto squats to start off with. So I already made a decision when I came to this workout that I was going to go heavier than last week. I think I finished on 150 last week, and I really wanted to hit 180. Initially, I started out what coach said with the closer stance, just on one plate, but it was just aggravating my right TFL. So scrap that. Back onto the 2 plates. This is just the first warm up set. It's meant to be 4 sets of 6 reps with each set increasing weight. So yeah, just 120 for a nice comfortable warm up, and then straight into hamstring curls. So I did hamstring curls after every set, and I went 120, 140, 160, and then 180. So yeah, 15 reps here on the old hammy curls. I quite enjoy this little superset. Gets the quads and hamstrings firing and pumping quite hard. And I'm pushing the hamstrings quite hard because I'm able to handle high reps on that at the moment. Well, this is the 180 set. I was pretty happy with this. I'm hitting depth on squats in this variation pretty easily, and it's moving comfortably too. Hardest part of this is just getting used to the kind of weight sitting on the old neck a little bit, because I do get quite a bit of lean forward in this position, more than I normally would, at least in a high bar squat. You can see it's not very hard. I'm moving through the reps pretty easily. And it's feeling, it felt really good. It felt nice to be able to move this kind of weight so comfortably. And my goal here is to try and keep every rep kind of looking the same. Same position on the way down, and then trying to drive through my quads and get my chest up. I do get a bit of chest fall, but that's just the way I've squatted for a long time. Into my death marches. So I've increased the weight, so I think I'm using 40s or 45s, 40s. And what I found is I just can't handle holding the dumbbells for a long period of time. And so I'm using straps just to be able to hold them, because what I found is if I'm focusing on holding the dumbbell and it's getting down to my fingers, I'm not actually getting the right movement pattern, and then I'm getting issues with not actually getting the outer glute to fire and the hamstrings to fire properly. So straps kind of get rid of that issue, and I don't really care about training my grip too much because I've got a strong grip, and it's I get it trained in heaps of other ways. I'm really enjoying death marches still. Great exercise. I'm really trying to force my hip out on the side, so it ends up being a glute med exercise as well as the hamstring. And get that little bit of foot turn in the front as well. Into the old kettlebell wood choppers. Again, I've said this a million times. This is a really good exercise. I'm actually quite enjoying this. Good for the core. As long as you're doing them right and you're concentrating, my goal is I'm focusing on kind of throwing the weight from my hip, I guess, a little bit. Instead of using my arms just to lift it, I'm trying to get the hip to move the weight. And then, stopping the movement at the top, stopping the movement at the bottom as well. And trying to resist the torque through the core, but also allow the torque to pull me a little bit. So I'm getting a little bit of twist through the old core muscles. And then into the quad pump of doom. Yeah. Same thing as last week. 5 sets of 20, 1 minute rest. And as I said in the video, Jesus. I think I'm dying, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's focusing on trying to improve this. So I did the same way as I did in week 1, but my focus was to try and get all 5 sets for 20 reps without having to take like a rest for a second or two in between reps. This is the 5th set. Nice angle there. Get to see my lovely facials as I'm struggling through the set. You can see where the boom really starts right there. Here we go. Yeah, get it done. Get it done. Yeah, I got it done. All 5 sets of 20 pretty comfortably. On to leg raises. I'm getting better at these. Core's getting stronger. Can't remember how many reps I get here. I get 18 or 20. I think I get 20. So the workout is 12 to 20 reps. 3 sets. So as many reps as I can get up to 20 essentially. So I think I did 20, then 18, and then the last set was 18 again. And by that point, I had to lay down on the ground for a bit because my core was cramping. By neck press. So 1 rep less than last week, 1 set more, and 5 kilos more. So it was 4 sets of 7. So this is actually I believe the first set. Pretty comfortable. The hardest part is actually figuring out where my elbows need to be to get the press to go over the head from the start without just smacking myself in the back of the head. Yeah, I'm actually enjoying this exercise. It's opening up my shoulders quite a bit, so I'm getting a bit more mobility and movement in that position. And just pausing your last rep, nice and strong. And then after that, I'm doing the behind and neck pull downs as I have been for the last, I think, 6 weeks now, second block. So it's again, just trying to open up my shoulders, get a bit more flexibility through that movement. And this was the first kind of muck up of the week. So I said, I want to go heavier than I did last week. I want to be a little bit stronger. So I did 50 kilos for the first set. Because last week I went 45, 50, 45. And, the 50 was not easy, but it was pretty comfortable. So I said to myself, all right, you go 50 and then try 52. And I think I was just a little bit off in this workout. Like I wasn't feeling quite as strong as I normally would. So 52 goes pretty comfortably with the right arm. As you can see. You tell it's my right arm because it's the one that's got all the tattoos on it. Because I'm only tattooing on that one arm for some reason. And I was struggling to get it comfortable. You can see the first rep's really messy. And then I mess it up. I try and readjust. I get in my own head and I put it down. And I go, nah, it didn't work. Finish off the set. I rolled the 50 back over. Did the 4 reps. And did 1 more set with the 50. So I managed all 3 sets with 50 kilos, which was an improvement. Yeah. On to day 3 with the deadlifts. So it was 4 sets of 7. And it's 3-second eccentrics. And my goal was, okay, I'll do the first 3 sets at like a certain weight. And then the last set, I'm going to try and like send it a little bit harder and go a little bit heavier. So I did 210 for 3x7, 3-second eccentrics. They all felt like comfortable, but my back was getting pretty fatigued towards the end. But I managed this. So yeah, 240. The thing is, the weight's not super heavy. Like I definitely feel like I'm a lot stronger. It's just I'm still a little bit tentative because my back's still not 100%. Like it will be, and I know it will be. It's just getting there. So I'm pretty happy to move the 240. You can see the my straps are starting to unravel, unfortunately. So yeah, I probably should have put it down there and then re-strapped up, but I do this one. I re-strap and I do the last rep, and I actually got a forearm pump from the set because the straps were unraveling so badly. I was basically just holding on my fingertips. And yeah, last rep, and I get it done. On to split squats. Same thing as last week. I've just got the box here because that's as low as the the rack goes, put that bar there, and I don't want to be using a bench because this is the position I want to be in rather than having my toes up or an awkward position on a bench. A little bit heavier than I did last week, just 2.5 kilos, nothing crazy. Just adjusting the thing there because I think my foot ended up in the gap between the pads. So it's pretty much just foot on bar, which wasn't very comfortable. Oh, he's mucking it up. Jeez. But yeah, I was trying to focus on just going a little bit lower than I did last week and just getting the movement pattern as like solid as I can. Bar's moving around a lot, which was kind of annoying, but that's my own fault because I'm pushing too far backwards rather than going straight down. But I get it done. And then I go on to my safety bar squat, good mornings to a pin. I'm meant to do these beltless, and as you can see there, I was like, whoa, no, that's not good. My back was just so stiff and like fatigued from the deadlifts that I was like, I'm gonna have to wear my belt here. So I chucked the belt on, managed to get all the sets done, but they weren't super comfortable. It was just my back was really fatigued from the deadlifts in general. So trying to get this done, even though it's a hamstring focused exercise, it's still very lower back dominant, obviously. So I really take my time just trying to eke out the reps as best as I can. Pretty sure this was the last set, so it was pretty rough in the end. I think I stopped most of the way through the set actually, like 8 reps in now probably. And I had to take a breather because it was just, getting a bit of a head rush from the bar on the back of the neck. It's not like it's super heavy or anything, it's just, deadlifts are fatiguing these days because, my back's not 100% and I'm getting old. A little bit of a video of me mucking around doing my thing. You get to hear me sing in a second. A little dance. Look at me go. Just trying to have fun and not take myself too seriously sometimes. You ready to hear the most horrible thing you've ever heard in your entire life? And then, onto the set. So I only managed to get one set. My belt actually, I pushed my core into the belt too much and I hadn't obviously put the Velcro on properly, so it actually unraveled itself. I only ended up managing to get one set. It's just, by the time I got to this, my back was pretty much done. It had enough. So this set in my mind was, do 122, I think that is, 122 kilos, and then do a set at 127. And I got the 122. And I mean, it wasn't hard, but it wasn't comfortable either. Like the weight's not heavy, the grip's not hard. It's just my back is like, you've had enough, you need to stop. But, I don't like giving up, unfortunately. And then, here's me trying to get 127 off the ground. And it doesn't happen. And I go, nah, that's enough. And on day 4, nice, kind of comfortable workout. I was having a little bit of elbow pain. And then you'll see that later in the workout, where I'm kind of pointing, like I was pointing to it earlier in the car video. But a couple of sets of 7 on the old incline, bench at 125 kilos. Not overly hard, it's actually pretty comfortable. It's an exercise that my strength has been improving quite quickly, so I probably could go heavier, but try not to overly fatigue myself going into the rest of the workout. I started trying to use my monster dumbbell for these rows because the heaviest dumbbell we have in the gym is 60. So I was like, I'll use my monster dumbbell, which is also 60. I wanted to try 65, but the dumbbell ends up presenting another issue because it's so big. I keep on hitting the bench or hitting my leg. But I'll get it done. And then, onto my kettlebell windmills. I'm getting better at these. It doesn't look great, but I am getting better at these. My arm is more directly over top of my head. And it's more comfortable getting down there and like touching my foot. So hopefully that means my flexibility is improving, which will help my dumbbell. The left arm's a lot better, which is weird because the left arm is also incredibly weak compared to the right arm when it comes to like pressing movements. I say incredibly weak, like a couple of kilos. But I'm just more flexible through that section of my core, I guess. And then onto dumbbell. And this is where you'll see the elbow issue. This is just 60 kilos, meant to be one of my warm-ups, and I decided to video just to make sure my technique was kind of looking good. I do it, and I get it up, put the dumbbell down, and you kind of see me, I start playing my elbow, grabbing my elbow, I'm like, oh, that hurt, that doesn't feel very comfortable. I took like 10-second breather and did the right arm, and just with the elbow being quite sore at this point, I was like, okay, I'm going to call like a, I'm going to call an audible. I'm going to call a change. So I decided, okay, left arm's not working. We're not going to left arm. We're going to do all the sets on my right arm only. 70 kilos. So this is 70 kilos. And I think I was just worried about my left arm, so I wasn't really concentrating on the technique very much. And this is, I think, the last set. So I did 10 sets of 60 seconds rest, all at 70 kilos. Like sets 4, 5, and 6 were all the best, like the really comfortable looking ones. All right, this must be the last set. So that second one must have been, I think, set 7 or 8. Yeah, compared to last week, I was so disappointed because my technique had felt so on point. Oh, I guess I put quite a few singles in this video. Yeah, my technique felt so on point last week. Everything felt so comfortable. And then for it to just suddenly, the technique just disappeared and it's just not there anymore. But that's all right. It'll get better.